love Friday. We love, love, love Friday. And today is Good Friday. So as a Christian, we very, very much celebrate, if that's the word. We take pause for sure because it's Good Friday and we remember the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. And so today is one of those days that it's like, obviously, I mean, I don't know. For most Christians, we are like probably our favorite holiday is Easter. Now, my favorite holiday used to be Easter because of the candy, and I'm just not lying. It was the Cadbury mini eggs. But now, since I do not eat those anymore, and I could eat like a family-sized bag in a week, I mean, oh my gosh, they are addicting. I digress. But now, of course, Good Friday is for real. It is for real. So Resurrection Sunday is coming. That is very exciting. So I know everybody's going to have a lot of really good family time this weekend. I hope you are. I hope you are going to get to do something. I don't know. There are just so many good things to have done. I'm actually contemplating, like, I have talked to my daughter about it, taking our little grand boys. They're going to have some animals at a local place. Like, I don't know. Tomorrow. It's going to be really cute, like a little bit of a petting zoo for Easter weekend. Isn't that cute? Anyway. All right, you guys. So welcome. Jump on in. Every day we do this Monday through Friday, and we talk about insulin resistance. If you do not know who I am, put a 1 in the comment. If you have never seen me before and you are like, who are you? Like, and why are you talking on the internet? And if you've seen me, you know my content a little tiny bit even. Put a 2 in the comments. I would love to know. Always let me know when you're on the replay. I like to know. I appreciate it so much every time you guys tell me and tell me where you're coming in from. If you want to do that also. But today, this is what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about magnesium deficiency, you guys. This is directly connected to your insulin resistance. This is directly related to your insulin resistance. So that's the information that we want to talk about today. Like, for instance, now, what if, hold on. Oh man, where did I move my stuff? No, I didn't. I just used a different one. Hold on. Okay. So if you ever feel like you are really dragging in the afternoon, you really feel like your energy is waning, you feel like you're craving sugar, pay attention, because this is the conversation I have with a lot of people in my inbox, craving sugar, and you just can't shake the brain fog. It's driving you bonkers, right? What if I told you that a single mineral is actually behind that? Magnesium deficiency. So I can't wait to tell you just a little brief story about myself this week. Kind of funny, kind of not, kind of crazy. Like I didn't put it all together, but that's okay. So today we're going to just dive into magnesium and why it's such a game changer for your energy, for your blood sugar. Like people don't even understand that piece of the puzzle. And even for conditions like PCOS. So Dr. Barb Wogerers, I believe is her name. She put out some really good information on Instagram about magnesium. And I thought, oh, I'm totally going to do this, because one of the best testimonies that I just received on the magnesium that launched in March, 75 years old, on her feet and doing long shifts. And after about 2 days on her feet doing long shifts, she was being woken up 3 times a night. Instagram, you are so funny. It sends me balloons if I do a number 2, which is a V or something. I don't know. Anyway, after doing that for a couple of days, she was waking up 3 times a night with muscle cramps. So icky. I mean, interrupted sleep is the worst. It's just the worst, especially if we can't go back to sleep, right? But anyway, but it fixed it for her. So it makes me very excited. So when I saw that information, I thought that's exactly what I'm going to talk about because of that. And then my little experience this week. Okay. So that's what we're going to do. So hold on just a second. I want to tell you what magnesium is really, really good for in terms of your insulin resistance. So here, this is the information that you're looking for. So magnesium is very critical for insulin sensitivity. And remember, that's why we're here to talk about insulin resistance. Come on in from the balcony if you're in the balcony on TikTok. It's really good to see you guys. I was raised by a type 2 dad. He was insulin dependent, putting injections in his belly twice a day. My Italian family had obesity and type 2 freaking everywhere. I assumed I was going to be type 2. I should have been type 2. I was gestational with my first baby. I didn't even know the terminology insulin resistance because nobody ever spoke that. That was not a language. And I certainly didn't know anything about a trace mineral like magnesium. Like I paid zero attention all the way until I was 50 years old. So I always put like my before and after, oftentimes I do on TikTok. So that's me at 50. I'm a 2X. I'm a hot mess express. My hormones are freaking upside down. I'm paying zero attention to my sugars and to my potential like type 2. And my mother is on me like white on rice. Kirsten, do you ever get your sugars checked? Kirsten, do you even go to the doctor? Kirsten, like your dad died of type 2 when you were 30. Hello, wake up. What's wrong with you? Why are you not paying attention? And she could see my weight. She could see what was happening. So she was very concerned. Thank the Lord that she was annoying. I mean, seriously, thank you, mother. She has now since passed at 94, 2 years ago. And but I'm grateful that she didn't shut up. So I would have never known that magnesium. Like, why would I know that? Julie, good to see you. Why would I even think anything like that? I was like taking ibuprofen and Tylenol. I wasn't paying any attention to supplements. Okay, but magnesium is critical for insulin sensitivity. This is why it helps your cells absorb glucose. That's literally the goal. It's the goal is to get your cell to absorb glucose. Deficiency leads to insulin resistance, high blood sugar, and issues like fatigue, cravings, and inflammation. That's all that we should even have to say today. And we're all done. I'm just kidding. But I'm serious. Like that is literally everything. Remember, when you are insulin resistant, that means that your cell has closed the door to taking in the insulin that is shuttling the glucose into the cell to give you energy. So you are resistant. The insulin's trying to get it in there. It's like trying to shuttle it into your cell, and your cell goes, pretty much, no, you are toxic. I am full. And it closes down and it can't get it in there. So it turns all this extra glucose into fat. Fat storing hormone. That's what it's going to do. But if you are magnesium deficient and you start to take magnesium, well, it helps your cells absorb the glucose. Deficiency leads to insulin resistance, high blood sugar, and issues like fatigue, cravings, and inflammation. So it's also a cofactor in 800 enzyme systems, especially for insulin receptor function, unlocking cells for glucose. I'd love to know if anybody knew any of this. This is so good. Deficiency is common in insulin resistance, prediabetes, and PCOS, and supplementation can improve glucose, insulin, and HOMA-IR. Does anybody know? Do people know what HOMA-IR is? I'm going to tell you. Good morning, Patty. Good to see you. Very, very good to see you. Let me scoot down here and I'll tell you about HOMA-IR. So HOMA-IR, or homeostatic model assessment of insulin resistance, is a mathematical formula used to estimate insulin resistance based on fasting blood glucose plus insulin levels. It helps assess how well your body is responding to insulin, which is the hormone that's regulating your blood sugar. Okay, so the formula, you're taking the fasting insulin plus the fasting glucose, blah, blah, blah. A higher HOMA-IR score, it's HOMA-IR, means that your cells are less responsive to insulin. So your pancreas is pumping out more insulin to manage the blood sugar, which can lead to conditions like prediabetes, type 2, and PCOS. Okay, so that's what HOMA-IR is. Just it's a snapshot of what's going on in your body, just so that you know. That could be very helpful for somebody for sure. So hold on, let me go back. All right, so PCOS is often rooted in insulin resistance. Magnesium reduces androgen production, eases cravings, and supports hormone balance, sleep, and inflammation. Women with PCOS, maybe that's you or somebody you know. And if you know somebody with PCOS, share this information. I would think that they would probably be very benefited by this, right? Women with PCOS often have low intracellular magnesium. Isn't that interesting? Super interesting. High blood sugar and stress, through inflammation, oxidative stress, cortisol. Deplete magnesium, creating a vicious cycle. Supporting magnesium boosts metabolic resilience. So the whole goal is to become more metabolically flexible, and it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. You can get your sugars down, you can get your insulin down, but the journey is still going. It's an ongoing reality over a period of time to become really quite flexible, okay? Metabolically flexible. So if you have high blood sugar and stress, magnesium, it's depleting your magnesium. So high blood sugar and stress, high cortisol. Remember, we've done lives about the difference between an insulin belly and a cortisol belly. Unfortunately, they both create a belly, right? But there are a couple differences. Well, people who have high cortisol, it's also depleting your magnesium with high blood sugars all the time. So this is why you need to be supplementing with magnesium. Boosting magnesium with food would look like this. This is some tips for you. Pumpkin seeds, spinach, almonds, dark chocolate. And remember, you guys, I tell you about how you can go to Walmart and you can get in the baking aisle, you can get the unsweetened baking chocolate from Great Value. Like, this is such a good tip right here. Great Value. So it's a good price. It's actually chocolate liqueur. You go look at that package. You can take that unsweetened baking chocolate. You can add like an allulose to it or any kind of a sweetener, like a plant-based sweetener, and you have really good chocolate. I'm just telling you, like, you can do hacks like that. So anyway, dark chocolate, that was for free because the rest of this is costing. And supplements, obviously. You can supplement magnesium pretty easily. It's a metabolic multitasker. That's what magnesium is. It's a metabolic multitasker. It's often ignored, but foundational for blood sugar health, PCOS, and energy. Golly, I love simple answers. I was talking about that on my stories this morning. Because you guys, like, if this is always so, I think that we're indoctrinated to believe that everything is rocket science and that you can't figure out anything on your own. You pour a little thing. You can't figure this out on your own. You have to go and get all, the doctor's advice and I'm not saying don't go to a doctor. I am not one, but I'm not saying that. Don't read between the lines or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, sometimes we don't even take back our health because we're thinking in our brains like it's just going to be too hard. It's not. What if you have simple answers on stuff? It gets me so fired up. I get excited. So you know what? If you ever feel like you're dragging throughout the day, you're craving sugar, you can't shake the brain fog, that is the piece of possibly needing more magnesium. And it's a very relatable thought process, right? So here are some of the things that happen when you are deficient in magnesium. Hold on. Magnesium is like the key that helps insulin unlock your cells so that you can use sugar for energy. And remember, that is your body's preferred fuel. It actually is designed to want to use sugar for energy. It's very much like putting pine wood into a wood stove or on a bonfire. Pine burns fast and hot. But it burns up really fast. And your body wants the same thing. It wants fast energy. That's what sugar is. But if you will deprive it of a constant spike of sugar, it will go into fat burning mode. And when you get into fat burning mode, that's like burning oak. So think about that. Like when you have bonfires this summer, my daughter has like 5 acres, and every once in a while we get to go out there and do a bonfire. If you put oak logs on there, you might as well just sit back and relax because it's going to be a while. You're going to have a nice long bonfire with oak wood. That's what you're wanting your body to do. But your body is wanting sugar into the cell for energy. So magnesium is the key that unlocks it. And you need to get that sugar into your cell so that it can get used for energy, so that it doesn't get stored as fat. Do you understand? Like, this is why the hamster wheel of fat. This is why you're on this hamster wheel, and it's so dang frustrating. Without enough magnesium, sugar builds up in your blood. And that's when things like fatigue, cravings, or even insulin resistance start creeping in. Okay. That's it. Because think about it. If your cell the doors are closed to energy, you're like, You're tired. Your body's not firing. You need everything to be firing. You need all of the synapses and whatever to be firing, all of the elemental functions, right? Sometimes, like in the middle of the afternoon when you're at work or whatever, you hit that wall. You're like, oh, and you just hit that wall. You're reaching for another coffee or a candy bar because you're exhausted. We all know that feeling. We all know what that feels like. But it could be a sign that your cells aren't using sugar well, and that low magnesium might be a part of it. Your body is screaming for energy, but the sugar is just not getting into your cell properly. Does that make sense? I mean, that's seriously exactly what's happening. But now if you're dealing with PCOS, I'm going to shift just a little tiny bit. Maybe irregular. Now share this with a daughter or a daughter-in-law or somebody if they are dealing with anything like this or depending upon who's in your life. Because again, I wish that I would have understood stuff like this when I was younger. Just in general, I had information available to me. I didn't take advantage of it. Okay. I didn't pay any attention. I was living my best life, assuming that maybe I should just embrace obesity, embrace type 2, like it's genetic, right? I mean, that's kind of how ditzy I was being for my own health. So I have to take full responsibility for that. But that's kind of where I was. So share this with somebody who might have PCOS, and it could really help them. So you have irregular periods or intense sugar cravings. And a lot of women with PCOS don't realize they might be low on magnesium, which makes insulin resistance worse. Okay, it makes it worse. That can lead to more androgen hormones, which mess with your cycle and your mood. It's not just you, it's your body needing that magnesium boost. Okay. Now, the tricky part is that high blood sugar and stress actually robs your body of magnesium. And that's that vicious cycle. So high sugar causes inflammation, stress spikes your cortisol, both burn through magnesium. It's like burning through it, just makes you deficient. Okay. Then low magnesium makes insulin resistance worse, and it just keeps going. So, we've had a lot of lives where we've talked about sleep. We've talked about stress. I've talked about, and it's been a few weeks now, probably since I've really mentioned it, make 2025 the year that you deal with your stress, that you deal with your sleep. Decide that you're going to figure out whatever it takes to not strive in your life or to not respond to stress the same way. You're going to shift a few things in your day, or you're going to shift a few things in the way that you're dealing with things. You have to make that decision, because that high cortisol is seriously wrecking you. It's messing with you. Cortisol is a hormone. Insulin is a hormone. GLP-1 is a hormone. You're wondering why you can't lose weight. You're wondering why you're exhausted all the time. You're wondering why your sleep is messed up. You're wondering why fat just keeps on accumulating everywhere. It's not just about being blocked from fat loss. It's about the accumulation of fat. And you're like, what is going on with my body? Well, these are all connected because it is a hormonal conversation. Literally every time we sit down, we're having a hormonal conversation, because insulin is a hormone, and we talk about insulin resistance every day. So it's all hormones. Your inability to lose weight, hormones. Gaining fat, hormones. Can't sleep, hormones. I mean, like, what do you want? There is no other answer. I mean, it's just the way that it is. These are all connected, and it's all like this. So that's why we come at it from a couple of different facets when I talk to you guys. We come at it from a couple of different facets, a couple of different ways, okay? Hold on. Now, this is like, our lives, we juggle so many things. Parents running to sports left and right, constantly, like, you've got a gym bag in the car and you're just running. Grandparents are even now like helping out with those kind of schedules because they are just crazy. So you're juggling work and kids, and maybe you're not sleeping great, you're stressed, your cortisol's through the roof. That stress is depleting your magnesium, which is making it harder for your body to handle sugar. So you're tired, you're craving carbs, you're feeling inflamed. Does any of that sound familiar? Does any of that sound familiar? It's really cool when I talk to, when I can bring out scenarios like this, and you guys literally will message me in my messenger and you'll be like, that's me. That's me. That's exactly what I'm going through. And I've been looking for somebody to talk about it, or I've been looking for somebody to mention it, etc. Good morning. Hello. It does sound like you. Yes. I know how this goes for people. So low magnesium doesn't just mess with your blood sugar. It can show up in muscle cramps, trouble sleeping, or even feeling anxious. And it's like your body's waving a red flag. Like, help me, help me. That's kind of how that goes, right? So how do you fix this? Okay, first we can talk about food. You can get magnesium from everyday stuff like spinach, throw it in a smoothie, pumpkin seeds, of course, when I'm talking about insulin resistance and eating. I'm not talking about high sugar fruits. I'm talking about berries, pumpkin seeds, which are a great snack, almonds, square of dark chocolate. We mentioned that. I love the Great Value hack. I think that's a really good one. But also too, supplements can really help you. So a little while back, we talked a lot about sleep and anxiety. And we talked about doing a magnesium ashwagandha combo. So many of you have jumped on that bandwagon and you are getting such really good results. So I thought I would just show you the pills that I've been taking. I want you to see what they look like. Oftentimes people want to know, what are the sizes? Okay. Now, if you've never done ashwagandha, let's just talk about the fact that cortisol is depleting your magnesium. Okay. So every night now, this is a triple blend magnesium and it's marine sourced, which means, and I've got to look at that. Look at how I should have a black on. I should have black on. I should not be wearing the same color as the magnesium. Do you understand my issue here? Okay. That's really funny. Here, I'll hold it up against me. Anyway, okay. So triple blend with an extract that helps your heart. That's a really cool thing. It's from olives. But anyway, triple blend, the marine sourced, very bioavailable, very highly bioavailable magnesium. So anyway, I take 2 of these at night. Then, which is helping with, this is helping with the cramps. It's helping to fill in all of the deficiencies that you might have because you've been stressed. It's helping with your ability to sleep better because it has a glycinate in it and you want a glycinate in it. Actually, it's a bisglycinate, which is 2 molecules. But anyway, blah, 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 all that scientific yada, yada. Point being that this is what I would take at bed. I take 2 magnesium and then I take 2 of these beautiful ashwagandhas. This one actually will show up. Nah, not really. Ashwagandha. Have you ever taken ashwagandha? It's a really good herb. Let me tell you girls about ashwagandha for just a second. Let me tell you. Good afternoon, Joanne. I take the magnesium, Joanne, at night, 200 to 400 milligrams at night. And so what I'm taking is 200 milligrams, but then it also has an olive extract and it's a triple blend. So it's really nice. It's really, really nice. So I take it at night. You take one with you take one of the ashwagandha with magnesium. That's right. Yes. Okay. So there you go. I take them at night when I can. And I know some people have a harder time taking, different pills and stuff like that. But the ashwagandha, so adaptogenic herbs do this for your body. They come in and they support your adrenals. And now this is a little sciencey. So some of you don't check out, just track with me for a second. Your adrenals sit on top of your kidneys. I didn't know any of this. I was like, what is an adrenal? Like I knew nothing, but I worked with a naturopath and she was amazing. Okay. So they sit on top of your adrenal, on top of your kidneys, and they regulate your hormones. So, when we as women deal with anxiety, stress, our moods are kind of wonky. We feel like that anger. We feel like fast, maybe flash anger, or we feel like just unregulated emotions. Oftentimes that's hormones, right? This is that conversation again. So ashwagandha is an herb that helps with sleep, stress, and mood. Now, I'm going to be really honest. When they launched it a year ago, and it's USDA certified organic, which you want, just think about, just for a second, think about if you're buying any herbs that have been grown in fields that have been sprayed with glyphosate, and then they're concentrated and they're put into a pill, and you're telling your body to process it. I'm just saying, don't be doing that. Okay? Don't make your liver work harder. We've talked about the liver all week long. We've talked about it all week long. So I'm just going to say that this is a much better option for you. Trust me. Anyway, when you start to feel those things and you just feel like, where did she go? Where did my old happy person, joyful person, stable person go? What happened? And again, I like simple. I'm a very simple person. I don't like to have complicated answers. I don't want to do complicated cooking. I don't want complicated answers when it comes to medical anything. I want everything to be super streamlined. And so when I started to take adaptogenic herbs back in my 40s, I still take the same one today. That's a different one. I don't have to confuse you with that one. I still have that one in my line too. But I started taking that one in my 40s to help with my brain fog because I was having a hard time multitasking. Had zero idea it was going to help with my hormones. Zero. I was not aware. I was not assessing myself. I was not doing anything of value in that arena. But when it did, I was like, I need to research this. Like, why did that help me? What's going on? Okay, fine. Research it. I understand it. I actually started talking about it online a lot. So a lot of my first base customers that started with me started because of helping with adaptogenic herbs and their hormones and feeling better. And it's amazing. I love that. But then they launched a year ago, the ashwagandha. And I'm like, I don't know if I need ashwagandha. Like, I'm good. I'm fine. I think I don't need that, whatever. But I'm a business owner. So I'm like, okay, fine. I'll beta test it and let people know what I think. Well, I'm still taking it. I am still taking it. I was taking, for sleep, I was taking magnesium. And then I have a product that's a sleep product. It's I call them stinky herbs because they smell, but they were really working. I was taking those two. So pretend that stinky herb is right here. I was taking magnesium and a stinky herb for sleep. And it was helping me really like a lot because I can't do melatonin. It makes me drunk. But then the ashwagandha came out and I realized I'm going to just set that stinky herb aside and use the ashwagandha because it's supposed to help with sleep. Doesn't make you tired when you take it. That's not what it's doing. It's working on your internal systems so that when you do fall asleep, you get a better sleep. So then I started doing this with the ashwagandha. I started doing these two together. Can I get this all together in one hand? I started doing these 4 together at night, and I never looked back. I never looked back because what it did for me was all of a sudden this ashwagandha was like, I don't know if you know what it's like when you kind of have this sense of well-being inside of you, or maybe you notice that you have lost that sense of well-being, like that. Maybe it goes back to that stability conversation. I don't know. Like, we just know when things are off. When I first started feeling things were off, like in my 40s, my mid 40s, it was reminiscent of kind of that postpartum stage. And so I now at 60, and I've been doing stuff like this now for 10 years, over 10 years, since about 14 years. I really started my insulin resistant stuff a little over 10 years ago. But for about 14 years, I've used some adaptogenic herbs and I've used some supplementation, et cetera. Before that, never supplemented a day in my life. But I had those reminiscent feelings of postpartum, and you kind of start to feel that like anxiety under the surface, and you're like, what is that? Why is that there? I don't understand. Well, again, simple, like magnesium would be a deficiency. Okay. So that's filling in that need for deficiency. And the ashwagandha is coming in and supporting your adrenals. Your adrenals are your backup to your ovaries. Do you understand why that is the missing piece for so many women? Because your ovaries, they kind of peter out, right? And that's the one thing, that's probably one of the most important things I ever learned from the naturopath that I worked with. Like I said, she was amazing. She said, Kirsten, no, this is for every age, because it's still, no matter how old you are, and in this conversation with me, it doesn't matter. You're either pre-perimenopause, you're perimenopause, your menopause, or your postmenopause. All of this applies to every single one of you. Okay. She said to me, Kirsten, the way you go through menopause will be the way that you take care of your adrenals. Magda, good to see you. You're fine. You're fine, girl. Come on in. The way you go through menopause. So the way, I'm going to put it a different way. The way that you take care of your adrenals will be the way that you are able to have a sense of well-being, hormonal balance, good serotonin and dopamine and all of the things that you want. And it doesn't matter what age you are, because I can tell you the benefits for every single age. Had I understood this in my upper 30s, I could have hit perimenopause completely different. I wouldn't have had to try to clean up the mess. Now I'm grateful for my journey and where it did, like, thank God that I did catch it when I did. I'm so glad, Terry. Good to see you. I'm so glad. But I will tell you that even as if you're an older female like I am, you know what? I've been married for 37 years. I still want my hormones functioning well. I don't know about you. It matters. So I'm just telling you, like, you can fill in some deficiencies and you can help your body actually still regulate hormones and do all of the good things and then have all of the good results from that. If you know what I mean. So I'm just letting you know about the ashwagandha and the magnesium today. It makes such a difference. And if those are a couple of things that you would like to be able to, take a peek at, you can either, I'm going to check on my website. I'm not sure if I have a thing there for you guys. Let me see what I have. But every day we are here Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And we are mainly here because we're going to talk about insulin resistance and how you can turn it back around. It makes me extremely happy to talk to you about that. I'm going to wrap up here with a different testimony that I had just received the other day that I think will be very, very beneficial for you. So let me see here. I do have the magnesium and the ashwagandha in the cortisol cart on my website, but maybe I need to just make a special cart for you guys so that you can just ask me about it. Maybe you just want to put magnesium duo or something, and I'll know you want the magnesium and the ashwagandha, and I'll make you a special cart. My website is my first and last name.com, kirstenliebelt.com. And it's just one page. And I like showing it to you guys so you can just see that's what it looks like. You'll know you're on the right page. And it's one page just like that. It's super easy. But one of the testimonies that just came in this week, actually, I'm just going to kind of sideline a little bit. And that has to do with, and if you want the magnesium ashwagandha, just message me in Messenger, Instagram, TikTok, text me, call me. I do phone consults all the time with you guys. I did a lot of them this week. That was really good. And it had to do with the gut primer. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because, again, the simple solutions. So this is what happened to me this week. Do you want to hear this? First of all, I was having my husband had some gut issues on Sunday night. And he woke up, he said, wow, he said, I was not feeling well overnight in the bathroom. And he goes, that's really crazy. And he goes, it must have been something that I ate. And I thought, oh, okay, well, that's interesting. So he ended up halfway through the day, he was like, I don't know if I should take the gut primer or not, I don't want it to make me go more. But we weren't really putting things together. This is me not paying attention to my own universe of all of your testimonies. Kind of crazy. So he takes the gut primer and he gets better. And he's like, wow, that was amazing. Okay, whatever. We move on. We just think it was just something he ate, blah, blah, blah. Wednesday, I wake up and I'm like, I'm not feeling quite normal. I don't like this. My tummy is all kind of weird. My gut is off. And I'm like, that's weird. And I was starting to feel kind of like ickier and ickier throughout the day. And so I took some digestive enzymes and I'm like, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I don't put it together that, so I wake up Thursday and I sleep a lot Wednesday night and I wake up on Thursday. I'd taken a bath the night before. I'm going to connect that here in just a second. I wake up Thursday and I'm like, I don't know, and I'm, whatever. I decide I'm finally going to take my gut primer. Like, why wouldn't I have done that? But I was just a little, again, concerned because, if you're using the restroom a lot, you're like, you don't want more because of that. The gut primer really does help people who are constipated, but you have to really grasp this. It's not just, it's kind of like Slimetry, the one that's in the trio. It's not, it is helping your metabolism, but it's not necessarily going to help you lose weight that you don't need to lose. Like, that's not the point of it. Same with the gut primer. It's not going to give you loose stools. If you already have loose stools, it's going to help to move impacted waste if you're constipated, but it's also going to shore up your gut if you are going all the time. And silly me, that's like one of the main testimonies from you. I have a customer that has short gut syndrome and she was going a lot and she was very concerned about trying it, but no, it brought healing. I shouldn't use that word. It brought calm to her gut. And then all of a sudden she's like, holy crap, like this has been years. This has like fixed me. Like, she's amazed. So anyway, I wasn't tracking, my bad. So I take the gut primer yesterday afternoon. I'm like, why am I not taking this? And sure enough, better, more energy, feeling great. My husband's like, are you sure you want to go to this meeting tonight? This is last night. I'm like, oh yeah, no, I'm getting better. I can feel it. Like, my stomach sounded like the storm that was outside. The rumbling that was outside was going on in my tummy. Like, my gut got off. So it must have been a little bug we had this week. I don't know what it was or where it came from. Doesn't matter. Could not believe the recovery. Could not believe. I was like my own testimony. It was crazy. But I had this lady that sent me a text this week. She said she's been on the gut primer now 3 weeks, and she cannot believe how good her stomach is. She's been on an IBS med. She was on something else from them, trying to get her stomach lining to simmer down, and nothing was working. They even prescribed her a probiotic. She said, which did nothing. Now, I'm just going to tell you straight up. If you think that pharmaceutical companies making supplementation is a great idea and you're getting prescribed it from the doctor, I'm just saying, it's curious to me, may not be to you, is to me. And she's like, nothing they gave me worked. I can't. She's like, thank you. I'm so glad that I found you. I'm so glad that you have helped me more than my doctors and pills could ever touch. I think that might be a direct quote. Now, of course, it's not because I have all these answers, because I'm not a doctor or whatever. I'm just telling you, that's how good that blend is for the gut primer. If you've never seen it, it just looks like this. It looks like a greens product. You put a scoop in some water, down it like a shot, has 6 products in one. Very turmeric-y, gingery, fermented greens, alkaline spices, amazingness. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. But that's where that testimony came from this week, and it made me so dang happy. Well, this is the side note testimony. So in January, can you put up with me for 30 more seconds here? I'm going to tell you the story. In January, I start having an issue with what I thought was my knee. And I've had arthroscopic surgery in my knee when I was in high school. And I thought, oh man, it's rearing its ugly head. This is terrible. I don't want to even acknowledge it. Blah, blah, blah. So I go to my chiropractor and I'm like, this is what's going on. He starts poking around and he's like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that was so fire behind the muscle behind my knee. He goes, that's not your knee. He goes, that's your hamstring. And I'm like, oh my gosh. She's like, yeah, so stretch your hamstring, do this now. Okay. And I'm doing it and it's not completely fixing it, but it is getting better. Because I didn't feel good, you guys, I jumped into a magnesium bath, an Epsom salt bath on Wednesday night, like just to go and relax, right? Because I didn't feel good. I wake up and I'm like not paying any attention, but then I think it was like last night or something, I went, I think my knee feels better. Like, oh my gosh. And this is how I was able to test it. So I like to sit on my, like, I like to go sit on my legs, with my feet underneath me, like on the couch, like tuck them underneath me and warm up my toes or whatever. I live in Minnesota. Okay. And I like to tuck them underneath me. And I wasn't able to do that since January. And isn't that interesting? I took that bath and I soaked in magnesium into my muscles and it fixed it. Y'all, if you do not have Epsom salts in your house, what are you even doing? I'm like, that is incredible. So I tested it this morning. I'm like, yay, I can sit on my legs again. I know that's a weird thing, but again, let's just go back to the reality. Simple, simple, simple. What if there were simple answers to things? What if not everything is so freaking complicated that we need a team of docs and a team and a like a lazy Susan full of meds that give us a host of side effects that we have to then put out those fires? What if it was more simple than that? That's what gets me so excited, because insulin resistance is not a terminal diagnosis. So you get to have simple answers potentially. And then what happens is you level up your function of life. And all of a sudden you start to live in Technicolor, because your life just gets brighter and more colorful because you're able to function and do more things and make more memories. I sure hope that resonates with you today. I really, really do. So that's why I can be so bizarrely passionate about let's fix your sleep in 2025. What if you like, did I put my stuff away? What if you coupled some magnesium and some ashwagandha and you changed the way that you slept in 2025? What if you did that? How would that make you feel if you woke up and you didn't feel so freaking exhausted? How would that make you feel if you didn't like totally crash all the time in the middle of the day? And of course, that goes along with the whole insulin resistance conversation and the food ingredient trade-outs that I talk about, because I'll tell you, you can live a completely different life than how you're feeling right now. I promise you. I've changed out my foods. It took me a while. You know my story. I think most of you will. It took me about 3 to 4 years to trade out my ingredients because I was doing it on my own. I'm Italian, no judging. And it was challenging, but I had to make a lot of my connections. But at the same time, I was supplementing and I was taking the trio, the 3 supplements that have the 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. I needed my food noise to shut up and sit down. I needed my body to start bringing down with the trace minerals in the trio. Again, deficiency. Thank you for the hearts. Who's in the house? Oh, good to see you. Thank you so much, Chris. You're amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. But I needed my body to respond, to bring down my sugars and to bring down my insulin. I needed my liver to level up. I needed my metabolism to get boosted. I needed that trio. And it's what I talk about usually every day. But my point being that my life at 60, I wake up and I don't ache. That's why that knee thing really bugged me. Actually, it was my hamstring. But it bothered me because I'm like, what's going on? That's not how I wake up. That's not how I feel. That's not how I function. Like that's because now I wake up and I don't ache. I target my supplementation for exactly what I need. That's what I get to help you do. And I've traded out my food ingredients, and then I teach that in my group, Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women, so that you can learn how to fish. And then you get to have a better life. You get to have a more fulfilling and functioning life. You do not have to be at the mercy, in my opinion, You don't have to be at the mercy of all of the scripts and all of the side effects. This was never a terminal diagnosis to begin with. That's something different, right? So have hope. I'm 60. I didn't start till I was 50. Have hope. I've lost 3 sizes in my 50s because of this. Because when your insulin is high, you can't lose weight. So you bring down your insulin, you can lose weight. It's one of the pieces. So I'll see you on Monday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. If you need the magnesium and the ashwagandha, just reach out to me and I'll get you a cart. You can just say magnesium duo. I'll know what you mean. You can put it in the comments, or you can message me in Messenger, Instagram, TikTok. I'll get you what you need. And have such a blessed Easter weekend. Have such a good weekend. Enjoy family, enjoy friends. Happy Good Friday. Sunday's coming. And so have a happy, happy, happy Resurrection Sunday. So see you guys later. Bye.